Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, Baralameen. Assalatu wassalam ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Halim wa salam bikum. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi le kwani fati fi din. Salamu ala mani tawahuda le kwani fati fi Africa, Europa, America, Caribbean, Wakuli Macan. To my fullback community, Anzarama, how you doing today, my dear brothers, sisters? And I'm going to continue my talk on why we should have the Council of 40 and why we should have a traditional border patrol of some sort along the model that we had during the great Fulani sultanates from the 1400s to the 1800s. And I'm almost, I should say, I'm 100% certain this will be a major factor in quelling the Muharaba and the banditry groups and so forth and so on. I believe this will be a big issue. Here, I'm going to cover some topics, brothers and sisters, today. I just want to show you a depiction. You always hear me talk about metaphysics. Metaphysics, we have the Sahara. Remember, I told you our ancestral fathers said that if you understand the Sahara, you'll be able to understand the cosmos. And as I told you many times about the cosmos, about the desert, the Sahara, it's like you entering into another world. There's a piece to it as though you're not sitting on the earth. There's a very, I don't know, the gravity. There's a lot of metaphysical things about this. I'll cover some of that today in my talk. And here we have our patrol officers. Again, the patrol officers will be the Sanhaja. The Sanhaja are originally Black people, but they're Amazigh, and you'll find them to the north. And you heard me talk about them. The Fulani over to your right here, and then you have the Sanhaja. Sanhaja I'm using because it was a confederation of about roughly 7 to 10 different ethnic groups of the Amazigh, and they formed a federation, and they call it Sanhaja. So, and the Sanhaja and the Fulani have always had relations. They marry each other's family and so forth and so on. Here we have a depiction what I was talking about metaphysics. The advantage that we have is that we understand the earthly pulse. Here you have a depiction of lizards and scorpion. They're telling the patrol that something is out there. Most people will not pay attention. They'll see lizards running, or they'll see the scorpion going in a different direction. They don't pay too much attention. But if you're in tune with the Sahara, you'll be able to understand this action here. So the patrol who are looking for the Muharaba, again, Muharaba are the bandits, highwaymen who rob people, waylay people out in the open frontier. They kidnap, they steal, they do a whole variety of things. And they're looking for them. Suddenly, this patrol comes across lizards running. So they know that this Muharaba syndicate is somewhere nearby. This is what we're talking about, brothers and sisters. And I'm hoping that you guys get this understanding about the Sahara and why the military and security forces and the foreign elements are not wanted there, and they don't have success there. And I want to make sure we get that understanding. I'll cover some of this as we go. And as we start here, I want to give you the layout here on what I'm going to be talking about today. And okay, if I can find it here, brothers and sisters, excuse me, here, the talking points, here we go. And so today I'm going to cover number one here. We're going to talk about the metaphysical advantage. Here we have two powerful brothers here. One in the blue is Sanhaja with the Amazir, and then over here to your right is the Fulani. And these are special, again, specially picked border patrol that our Council 40 will have a say-so on who is put into this beautiful patrol system. And they can do things that the modern military cannot do. And this is why I'm a stickler for it. Our ancestral fathers had this beautiful system in place. It protected the rights of people, but it protected caravans, so against the Muharaba, so they wouldn't be able to, get involved. Second, I'll talk about the frontier knowledge, and then third here, explaining the images. I have images I want to, explain to you. And number four here, we'll talk about the Eastern Corridor, and we'll talk about the Muharaba and how they leave from northern Nigeria, they go into Niger, and then they go further north to avoid detection. And there they can camp out in the open, nobody will bother them, and they can regroup, and then they get intelligence reports on what's going on in northern Nigeria, and then they leave again and go down to make their raids and so forth and so on. I'll get more into that. Number five, we talk about the mission of the special patrol, the Sanhaja Fulani patrol that I believe they should try to implement. And number six, why the Fulani and other frontier communities are best served by traditional patrols. That's important, brothers and sisters, because they need this. So first, we'll get into the metaphysics. Brothers and sisters, the Fulani and the Tuareg, but we're talking about the Fulani, about the Modibo. I explained to you before about the Modibo. I explained that he has a special divine favor from Allah, where he understands the earthly pulse, but he also understands the cosmos. This makes him different, and he's grounded in the Quran, in the tafsir of the Quran. He speaks Arabic language. He has a deep understanding of human nature. And this is a beautiful divine favor that Subhanahu wa Ta'ala bestows on few, not a whole bunch, but many in my community had this over the years. The Sufi orders had this particular divine favor from Allah. Okay, they had this. But I'm going to touch on something about the metaphysics, brothers and sisters. I want you to get a grasp of this. And I want you to kind of get a understanding of this. And I was picking many titles in my writing, but I wanted to get into why we're about this particular subject and why the importance of it and so forth. And this is my opening, talking about why these guys are getting away. We nobody can find their campsites and so forth. I talked a little bit about that the last time we talked, and that's the open statement. But I want to get into something, brothers and sisters, because somebody made a comment to me, and I wanted to. Here we go right here. Now, the metaphysics of the desert. Why the Sahara rejects the Muharaba. I want you to understand something about the Sahara. When the Sahara was, when our ancestral fathers left Tahmeri, ancient Egypt, they went westward. They stayed in the Sahara Desert. At that time, it was beautiful and lush, tropical, lush, a lot of game, water. The cattle that they had grazing, and so forth and so on. The metaphysics is the understanding of the Sahara, the deep understanding of the Sahara. The Bedouins who live there can tell you, they'll know when a dust storm coming because they can read the earth. They can understand it's when there's a vibration that happens, they know something's gone wrong. To understand why modern banditry and Muharaba syndicates face such total unforgiving resistance, within the metaphysic framework of the Sahara and the Sahel, one must look beyond human politics. You look at it from a standpoint of human politics. You say, you know, you see this. Well, yeah, the Sahara. Look at all the brush, this and that. Oh, the desert is hot. There's nothing out there, so forth and so on. But to the Fulani and to the Tuareg who are out there, they understand what this is. They know the Sahara. It doesn't give much, but it doesn't want you to take either. And what it has to give you, you take what it gets, what they give to you. And Subhanahu wa ta'ala has a special reference for the Sahara Desert. So the desert is not an empty expanse or rock. It is a highly sensitive ecosystem. Within this worldview, the presence of a predator. Now, the Sahara is like a living organism, brothers and sisters, and it's pure and it's a divine favor min Allah. When you have predators like the muharaba, when the kidnapping, you have the drug trafficking syndicates come through the Sahara. Why they have tough times in it is because the Sahara is rejecting them because of the ancient spiritual order. This ground has been preyed upon by thousands upon thousands of Muslims and other deeply religious. Before they had Islam, they had what is called Ka, and you heard me talk about that before. But anyway, this spiritual order, Subhanahu wa ta'ala, with its divine favor, has put this desert, when you enter it, there's something. My sister was explaining to me when she looked at, I can't think of the brother's name right now. I think I talked about him a couple of weeks ago. She was talking about when he went to the Sahara Desert, he took some people with him, and these were Europeans that traveled with him. When they got into the Sahara Desert, they said they felt a presence they never felt before. They said there was a calmness about it that they never felt, but they felt like a presence as though they were being guided, like not in a bad way, but they felt like there was a lot of pressure because there is a equal system and a barometric pressure system that's there in the Sahara. I felt that when I was there as well. But they reject the predators, okay? And the sanctuary of the pristine ecosystem. The Sahara, its bordering savannas maintain a delicate, hard-fought equilibrium. Every element from the underground water that they have, ancient acacia trees, the baobab trees adapt to extreme environments, exist in a state of sacred restraint. The witness of the wild, as you noted, even the smallest creatures of the desert recognize the unnatural aura of the muharaba. I showed you the picture, brothers and sisters. Okay, I showed you the picture, which we'll get back to it again. The lizards. Here we go. Now this is where the lizards actually lead the men to the camp of the muharaba. But I wanted to show you the first part of this reading the lizards. Here we go. They feel a negative vibration coming from some wicked people. This is what our Fulani Sufi intellectuals and scholars talked about the Sahara. Even its smallest, weakest creatures, they pray to Subhanahu wa ta'ala. They know when someone doesn't belong there, and especially when someone is evil. Here, the patrol, you had the Sanhaja on your left, and then you had the Fulani. They were looking at the lizards leave. The lizards are giving them a message to tell them that, hey, there's a foreign, wicked element that's near us. So they're reading it because they're rejecting that element that's there. Now you kind of get a picture what I'm talking about. And so I'll get back to the rest of those notes to explain this a little bit more. And excuse me for a minute, brothers and sisters, as I get where we go. We talked about the Haraba. Come on now, where you at here? Okay, where you at? Now this is no, this is funny. No, that's okay. Here we go. Here we go. In the middle here, the Sahara and its bordering savannas maintain a delicate system, as you heard me talk about. The witness of the wild. As you notice, you've seen the lizards. Okay, you've seen them. They recognize unnatural aura of the Muharraba. They understand long before a human troll spots the bandit camp, the local fauna, they scatter, they begin to go, they start to leave. The foreign frequency. The animals possess an uncorrupted instinct for balance. The Muharraba, because of their wickedness and their killing and blood-stained hands, that balance is disturbed. I'm talking about metaphysics now, brothers and sisters. Okay, metaphysics of the Sahara that our ancestors understood. They fled because they perceived that these syndicates do not belong in the ecosystem rhythm of the land. That's why they depart. Now, you see our brothers go through the Sahara. Yes, if a lizard or a scorpion is in his way as it's traveling, yes, it'll move out of the way. But you don't have a mass migration. But suddenly when you have the Muharraba, the bandits, kidnapping, drug traffickers who come to park out there in the desert, these animals begin to go away from them. These insects begin to leave. The desecration of the sacred space, because it is favored by Subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Subhanahu wa ta'ala considers it to be a place of great importance. So therefore, the Sahara has historically served a space of profound contemplation. Why? Thousands upon thousands upon thousands came to Sahara to make prayer, to go to have meditation and spiritual gatherings in the Sahara. Because why? It's peaceful and everything is clear cut. The sun comes up, the sun comes down. You can see the sun very well. It has beautiful sunsets. At nighttime, you look up into the cosmos and you can see billions of stars that you can't see in the city. It is a special place. So, to establish a camp for kidnapping, human trafficking, extorting within dunes viewed by the ancients as a profound act of sacrilege. They don't belong there. Let's move on further about that. The pollution of blood and greed. The traditional Saharan metaphysics hold that violence driven by pure, adverse cruelty poisons the earth. When hostages are chained, the Sahara hears their cries. The insects hear this, they feel this vibration and they begin to leave. When the blood is spilled over trade routes that once carried scholars and sacred caravans, the land itself is wounded. We believe in that the Sahara, that when these type of things happen in the Sahara, the Sahara actually suffers a wound. The invader status to the indigenous guardians and to the metaphysical architect of the region, the Muharraba are no local dissidents with legitimate political grievances. They are foreign invaders, spiritual parasites who leech off the land they neither understand nor respect. This is, again, deep metaphysics that we're talking about from the 1400s and the 1800s. Many of our greatest the Modibo Sufi orders had this concept about the Sahara. This metaphysical reality explains why the special patrols, this is why, again, they're specially picked from the 15th to the 19th centuries, operated with such terrifying efficiency. Because why? The Sahara loves them. They love the Sahara. They understand the Sahara. When the Sahara is wounded because the Muharraba and the bandits, kidnapping and brigand gangs and syndicates go through, they sense this. They go looking for it where this disturbance occurs. Fulfilling the Earth's demand. Those historical patrols were not just law enforcement agents. They were immune system for the ecosystem. They search the desert because they know something is there that's wrong. They search it till they find it. And usually when they find it, they're ruthless in their application to cleanse the region. The cleansing action. Just as a human body violently expels a toxin, the Sahara required total expulsion and liquidation of those who violate its space, meaning they want this element out. This is a metaphysical feeling, again, has a deep feeling of when you have Allah and the Tawheed Allah, and you have these criminal Mujahideen element that come in there. They don't pray. They're filthy, what we call najis in Arabic. They're dirty and they have blood-stained hands. And so therefore, you have a problem with the Sahara. When a force aligns itself with the metaphysical demands of the land, viewing the marauder not as a criminal to be rehabilitated. Listen to this, brothers and sisters. This is why I want this patrol to be involved. Because the bombing that goes on today from the Air Force and from when Americans and so forth come in and lay bombs down, they don't care how many people they kill. But the frontier patrol, border patrol of the Sanhaja and the Fulani, they will not do indiscriminate killing. They go because the Sahara and the Savannah will teach them who is the marauders. Because they live there, they know that this camp over here is Fulani. They know them not to be Muharaba. But many times our people from Abuja, our military, don't understand. They see a camp, they say, uh-oh, it's drug traffickers, and they go kill everybody in it. That's why we want them out. They don't belong there either. Viewing the marauder not as a criminal to be rehabilitated, but to intolerable infection to be catheterized. The outcome is absolute. The Sands remember their protectors, and they reject the invader utterly. This, again, brothers and sisters, is what I gave you a kind of a brief course on the metaphysics, because a brother asked me about this element. They said, look, I heard you talk about this many times. I want you to explain some of this to me because I understand our Fulani ancestors were deep into this. Yes. Now here, I want you to understand something. We're not talking about mushrik, meaning a person is worshiping the creation. No. Here, we're in tune with Subhanahu wa ta'ala because we have an earth. We understand that. This is why we make prayer in the Sahara and why we make a lot of dhikr to Allah in the Sahara. Why we have Quran studies and meditation in the Sahara. So we understand that because it is a sacred place. It's a special place where you can do these things. Okay, not a place where you worship it. No. Okay, no. That's not what we talk about here. Here we're talking about a sacred place where we can have things done to worship and remember Subhanahu wa Ta'ala's name. This is what we talk about. And in return, the Malaika, the angels of the angelic order, feeds information to selected Fulani and Tuareg so they have a better understanding what Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created. The Sahara, how he created it, and the pulse of the Sahara. I want that understood, brothers and sisters, on that. And I hope the brother is satisfied with this explanation about this, because I wanted to touch on him because he asked me about it, and I wanted to get him to have the understanding and so forth. And so we covered the first part. The second part here is the shared frontier knowledge. You see the two men here, the two brothers. You have the Sanhaja, the Amazir, and then you have the Fulani. These they have a special knowledge for the Sahara and for the Savannah region, and this is why, as you see here, number two, why this they again, we go back to the metaphysics. They understand. They know the behavior of the animals. They know the seasonal change, especially the Fulani, especially going into the Savannah region, they understand that the waterways and so forth, tracks, footprints, all these things they begin to understand in the Savannah and in the Sahara. So this is a important aspect. When we talk about the shared frontier knowledge, the Tuareg had, as you see, a briefing of a little bit of the map. There's a little bit below you here, the how there's a breakdown. When you start going further south, this is the Fulani domain. When you start going further north up, then into the Sahara Desert, this is the Amazigh, the Tuareg, what we call Sanhaja. That's their domain because they're experts in this. Okay, so let's get that understood, brothers and sisters, and the shared frontier knowledge. This is something that, we have been sharing each other's knowledge, also marriage inside these families since, I think, even before the 600s. And then they got together in the late 600s after Islam was introduced. They formed Takfir, which you heard me talk about the other day. Now, let's go to number 3 here, explaining the images. I'll get into the images because I want to make a point about the images so you can understand about the patrol and why the patrol is so important. Here we have here in front of the council, brothers and sisters, the Council 40, it will be responsible for handling the patrols. Here, the Council 40 is meeting. They wanted to discuss with the 2 commanders, with the Amazigh in the blue, and in the white is our brother, both are our brothers, the strong, devout Muslims. And here they're discussing the intelligence information that they got about the Muharaba all over the place in the Savannah. They got intelligence to explain where they're at, and now they're bringing it to the Council 40 to explain to them what their mission is going to be. So this is what you see here. They have a map, and the commanders are discussing it, and they're discussing this with the Council 40, which you see to your left and to your right and to the center and the back. So this is how this system will work. That's why our ancestral fathers left us a beautiful blueprint, and we should go back to it, especially Northern Nigeria today. They should get this Council 40. I've been trying to push this. I sent papers, I've sent images to explain this concept so we can have it introduced. We need to get the ulama together to speak in one voice. And this is what, and you see here, all of these brothers here is to your left and right, back behind you. All of them are scholars, intellectuals. They live in different regions in the northern part of Nigeria, but they got together for the greater good. And the Council 40, that way their voices and their knowledge can be shared and they become a powerful unit. Right now, you see Northern Nigeria, not only just, I'm not picking on just on them, but the pulse is Nigeria, bottom line. See, bottom line. And so if we can get the scholars to do like the Council 40 as our ancestral fathers did, then we have something going. Now we can have a better understanding, and we can also get a voice down in Abuja. Now we get to this one here. Why this patrol is best, brothers and sisters, because these brothers understand. They found tracks, plus local Fulani have told them about a band of thugs and Muharaba who are going through the settlements, robbing and killing and stealing cattle and camels and so forth and so on, and stealing their wealth. Now they've met because they're going back and forth from to the north to the south. So now the 2 joining patrols now are getting together to discuss the intelligence reports they have. So that way they can coordinate, and they will coordinate together. And they will then go and try to ferret out this criminal band of bandits and Muharaba. This is what they're discussing here. And that's why the system works. Where you have military, they have planes, they have a lot of times those planes and the surveillance equipment don't work. That's why these patrols work better. because they're faster and more mobile. And it's hard for the criminal element to ferret these guys out. They know the mechanical nature of the military. They know how they operate. And so it's easy to find them and detect them. But it's not easy to understand these guys because they move around. They use the shadows. They use the sand dunes. They know how to use the baobab tree and so forth and so on. That's the important difference in that. And now this is why we need these brothers to come, because this happens too much in the savannah. Here you have a Fulani settlement here where they were just migrating. Their cattle has been destroyed. Most of the people have been killed. Again, the Muharaba came in and it just destroyed everything, killed women, children, everybody involved. And then they stole their wealth. They took their food and they killed a lot of their cattle. And some of the cattle they probably took so that way they can have meat and barbecue. They can get the cattle and take it. And then they go to their camp spot and they'll have meat for months. They'll slaughter the cattle and dry the meat. And that way they can take each man could have his bag and he'll have dried meat in it. He can have that for his dinner and so forth and so on, breakfast, whatever. But here the joint patrol has come across now the devastation. They saw this and now they're going to go out and look for these guys. And I had a big discussion about issue about this, about these guys, and they kind of disagreed about this. But I gave them an analogy on what I think is right. Now the patrol are looking for these miscreants. These Fulani elders here is explaining to the patrol. The difference here is that you see the Fulani elders. Now, they have no fear of them. They fear the military. They don't trust because the military are many times the Muharaba themselves. They remove their uniforms, put on they put on a turban, and they put on a robe or a small agbada, as what we call that in West Africa, and they will go portray themselves as robbers, and they will go and kill when not under the state, but for their own, good, for their own financial gain. So here they're explaining again where they went to and the tracks you can see here. These guys are on their trail, and when they find them, we'll talk about this element when they begin to find these people and whatnot, and what should be done with them. And so I'm hoping, brothers and sisters, that you're starting to get a good understanding. Now they found one of the syndicates, because many times the syndicates are not just one thing. They may have a little bit of drug trafficking here. They human traffic Fulani women and other ethnic groups. They have, they kidnap for ransom. They'll have many aspects to gain financially. The patrol has now got a hold of some of these miscreant Muharaba who have just trafficked these Fulani sisters. When these brothers here that's down on the ground now get our sisters, they're not kind. These ladies here will be ferried up north to be sold, and they're sold to camps in the Sahara Desert. Many of them end up in Europe. Some of them end up in Libya. Some even end up in the Middle East. And our sisters are ravished. Many times by year 2, many of our sisters have already had children. They don't even know who the father is because they're ravished. Now the Muharaba got caught. These brothers got them. There's no courts available for them. Many times when they talk to these guys told that the police are involved with them. The police give them escort and protection. Sometimes even ammunition, and even tell them where they can hide, and they'll get paid. When the patrol comes across these people, they're 400, 500 kilometers, and since there's no Sharia court, there's no court, since the police are involved in the system. That means the judges won't do nothing because they have fear of their lives. And so now they have nothing. Usually what happens in situations like this, these men will be executed. Our sisters are saved and they'll be taken back to their respective villages. So this is an element where, again, I had a brother say he disagreed. But I asked a question to him. I said, well, what about the bombing that the Nigerian military is doing? They killed maybe 2 or 3 Muharaba, but they killed 200 over here in the marketplace, what they did here about 2 months ago. See, that's something, again, you know, they didn't want to, he didn't want to discuss that. Now, again, brothers and sisters, they began to read the lizards that you see down here. The lizards' homes were there in these like a hillside with rocks and so, because it protects them during the day from the heat and protects them from the cold, and they live there. Suddenly, the Muharaba is there. They found some of them. The lizards were out, and the lizards began, because now it's getting close to nighttime, so they're getting ready to go back in their homes. But the Muharaba are there. The patrol followed the lizards, and the lizards took them to the Muharaba, essentially. Not that they talked to the men, but the men read them, and they let them to go, and then they start to smell the smoke, meat being, you know, food being cooked, and now they found the Muharaba. So this is, again, some of the metaphysical aspects that we're talking about here, brothers and sisters. And now we get into the politics. The Council of 40, after they received a report from the again, which I'll show you, when the commanders come to the Council of 40 and to the Amin of the Council of 40, he give his report about how many people they've arrested, what they have done, intelligence reports. The Modibo then and some of his close associates in the Council of 40 travel to Abuja. And there they give reports to the security. That way Abuja understands every step of the way. They get a monthly or a quarter report, whatever the president of Nigeria will request. This system has to be implemented, brothers and sisters. We must implement this system because this is a missing link. That's why we have the problems in the North. Not all, but I'm saying this can help solve much of the problems. A clean system where we eliminate the corruption, we eliminate the ethnic cleansing from when the police come from the south to the north, they kill indiscriminately because he's Fulani, they kill anybody. They just kill everybody in the camp. So here the Modibo is explaining to the Security Council there in the Parliament in Abuja what's going on. This is a beautiful system that should be implemented. And we've got a couple more, and then the patrol investigation, we did that, reading the lizard, the frontier. I wanted to get part of this. Now, I want to show you this, brothers and sisters. This is an integral part. It gives you now a better understanding why these patrols will be so good. It shows you how the Sanhaja patrol, what their responsibilities will be, how they will manage their region, and then the Fulani over to your right explains his role because they're experts in this because they deal with cattle, so they understand the rainy season, they understand the waterways, and they understand the pulse of the region and so forth. And these two work hand to hand together. This is why this Eastern Corridor is a testing ground for the Council of 40. We developed this system. We have our patrols, and we take it out of the hand of the military. The military, to be honest, if there's an invasion from a foreign force, they get involved. This here is a mop-up operation. The military is not, they have equipment, yes, to kill, but they don't have the metaphysical understanding and intelligence for them to operate correctly. because they'll come to a village into Sahara or in the Savannah region and they kill everybody in it, claiming that these people are what? Or bandits or criminals, when in fact it's not the case. That's why we want to take it out of the hands of the military and put it in the hands of the council, and then we have these patrols, and they'll be specially picked, trained individuals who will be manning the Savannah region, and they can do more things than the military can. So this here explains how this system works, and you can go over it again in your spare time to see. This is a beautiful system, brothers and sisters, that can work, and I'm certain that it'll be a positive thing for us, and that we could prosper. The Muharaba map, I have to get this to you because we're getting close. I'll be closing shortly here. The Eastern Sahel corridor is a haven for weapons trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking, Muharaba activities, robbing people, stealing from people, and then running up to the north into camps where they hide. Here, we're starting to detect where these camps are. See, what makes it even more difficult, even if they have surveillance equipment used from the sky, it's almost the advance, excuse me. And but our brothers and sisters, our brothers in the military, excuse me, not in the military, in the Council of 40, with the intelligence, will get to understand where these bases are and how they operate. Here, we're showing you how the Muharaba, how they're leaving, and all of these areas that they leave to go to. And this is why the Nigerian politician was talking about yesterday. He was screaming, hollering, trouble. Why we don't find these guys? Many of the scholars know where these guys are at, but we can't find them. Here they have all the intelligence information. They have all of the things that help in modern technology, but they still can't find these guys. That's why I told you you need a patrol, a special patrol that we used centuries before to ferret these people out, and this will work. And you can see this beautiful map here showing you of how the Muharaba is leaving northern Nigeria and going into this deeper savannah, and then into the Sahara Desert. Okay, let me get okay. Now, this is what the ultimate goal that we want. Our brothers standing over the Muharaba are brought before a Sharia court. Here it is, the Mahkama here, Sharia. This is what is said in Arabic at the top here when you look at the center. This is where the judge, they will get these guys, and we have a system in the Sharia. You just don't get them and kill them right off like the American system. The American system is corrupted. Here, the people have a chance to explain. They'll explain to the Qadi, who's in the center here, means judge, why they're involved, and then we'll get evidence to find what they had done. If we found that they have murdered a lot of people, then there'll be a had. A had is a judgment rendered on them that most likely they will lose their life. And if you see in the courtroom, you have many of the patrolmen, the Tuareg and which is the Sanhaja, and then the Fulani a patrol, and they're sitting in there. Plus, you have guards and so forth to protect the Qadi and so forth. I don't know what happened. Like what happened, they raided. Was it Boko Haram? The bandits hit an area and they invaded the Sharia court. Here it's going to be very difficult because we're going to have all kind of people around the judges, and if the Muharaba or the bandits decide to come to take out, they're going to have a hard time to fight because they're going to be dealing with some rough brothers who are just as ruthless as them, and they will not be kind towards them, and they will take them out. Okay, the bottom line, these guys, as you see here, they're equipped not to talk to anybody. See, they got these guys, they brought them because they were close. There was a reason why they brought them before the judge. You see the way they're built. you see the ornaments they have on their body. These people here are liquidators. They come, they get these muharaba, as you find the muharaba who kidnapped the Fulani women in the desert. You see that part where I showed you, these usually they're executed because they're so far out. Here they brought them to the judge for a reason which we do not know. But the judge will then examine them and then render a decision on them. And that's how this system works, brothers and sisters. And I'm hoping that you guys have this understanding of that. And I wanted to show you that that camp again, where they found the patrol found those. No, where is that? I went to where they found the sisters. I don't know what I put for the traffickers. Yeah, here we go. I'm not sure if some of these men here were brought to the Qadi or not. I'm not sure if it's these guys or what. But we know many times these guys here will never see another day because they, a lot of times after the women are examined, our sisters are examined, most of the time if our sister said that this man had ravished us, most of the time these guys here will execute them on the spot. But if they had not been ravished, maybe they'll take them. We used to say in the military, in the UFC, in the United States, back to the rear, they'll take them to the court, even though it may be hundreds of kilometers away, but they'll take them to the Qadi for decision. But if the sisters and some of the daughters say that they were ravished and they point to the people who ravished them, I'm almost certain that judgment will be rendered there. A frontier judgment will be rendered on them. And we have a special because you look, the Nabi Islam was not kind with the Muharraba. He executed them. He was not kind with them. And he had other harsh methods he used against the Muharraba. Because these guys make it so that nobody will travel in the frontier because they're scared of being kidnapped or robbed from the Muharraba. So they need to send a message. And this is what you got here. And most likely, some of these guys, maybe 2 or 3 of them may be taken back to the Qadi for questioning and for judgment. The others might be, if they ravished, they would be killed on the spot. See, so that's a lesson that we want out to let the criminal element to know that the game is over now. You have terrorized northern Nigeria. This is your last time. You will not be able to, when this implement, brothers and sisters, they're going to strike fear because these brothers that you see here doing this are no joke, as you hear me say many times. They will fight these guys and they will deal with these guys. And they will not be kind. So now we talked about the Eastern Corridor. I showed you that, and we talked about the mission, justice, number 5 here, the mission, the justice, and and how they're supposed to present peace and also protect. This is one of the things, they protect the innocent. We don't have that today. The military and the foreign actors come into the region. They don't protect the civilians. They use them. They abuse them. They tell them, we want you to do this, and if you don't do it, we're going to ravish your wife and your daughter. So they end up doing something, and they abuse. This is why in a lot of the frontier, they don't trust the military because the military is just as bad as the bandits and Muharraba who plague on them. Here, they will have, these will be honorable and rugged Mujahideen. They understand the Sharia, okay? And they won't be doing things like that. So you see their mission, number 5 here at the right-hand corner. This is their mission. Number 6 here, why the Fulani and other frontier communities are better served, as you heard me talk about. Because of the continuity, the people most likely who are coming to patrol are Fulani themselves. And then they'll understand, because when the Council of 40 will start making its rounds, they'll start talking to elders everywhere to explain the system. The commanders of the patrol of the Sanhaja and with the Fulani, they'll also be making their rounds to all the outposts, the camps, the grazing areas and explain who they are and so forth and how to get a hold of them if there's something wrong. This is how this system is better served than the military, because they don't trust the military, because many times the military have killed them without right, like what happened in Burkina Faso. And I see the president Traore, he's making a lot of comments. I may address one comment he's made about the Sharia, but I'm not sure, because Sheikh Gumi's talked about him, and many talked about the President Traore and his comments about the Sharia and so forth. But there's one thing that still makes me very angry. They had the execution of I forgot how many Fulani men in these one province there in Burkina Faso. What they did is, if the Fulani young man or man had a beard, they executed him. Now you understand why I see, and the beard is sunnah. We're supposed to have a beard, okay? That's sunnah of the beard. Now you understand why this Traore talks like he does. He says he's Muslim, but you see the actions he's taken, making it more difficult to make your prayers outside your home, so forth and so on, okay? And he's talking about the Sharia he doesn't want and whatnot. And when they massacred the people here about a year ago, they took the brothers, especially if they were teenagers to older men. If they had this beard, they were executed. See, so this is why this system is better served than dealing with the military. And as you can see here, the last of this, why the Fulani and other communities are better served, because these patrols are them. They're them. So they understand them. They speak the same language. They know who they are. And by this time now, the patrol, they'll be patrolling their regions. See, you can see as the map here, they'll be patrolling their region, because the Muharaba is going to always be moving around looking for an easy mark. The patrols, they will have patrols in these regions, they know, and the patrol will be always coming through the region looking for the Muharaba and protecting. They'll go visit with the elders and ask them, have you seen any of the Muharaba? Yes, one Muharaba came the other day, but he didn't stay. So you'll get intelligence reports like this, because the patrol, they will be trolling. And these guys are more mobile than the military, as you see. They get up on mountains, and they get in the rocks. They'll get on sand dunes in the desert. They'll go behind the sand dunes. They know how to get into the sand dune so they can watch without anybody seeing them, and so forth and so on. And this is a beautiful system, brothers and sisters. And I'm hoping that I piqued your interest today, and I gave you some good historical information, and also about how we can help Northern Nigeria quell the Muharaba problem that is there. And the Council of 40 is a big antidote to that problem, and we got to get that implemented. I wanted to show you a couple more slides, and I'm out of here. I got to go pray too. And I don't, the commander's briefing, I covered that. I'm trying to figure where this, there's another, I covered all, I think I've covered them all. I think I covered them all. There is something, I don't know, I missed them, brought to the judge. I think I covered, but there was a couple of them I wanted to talk about, but that's okay. I think I got most of them. I want to go back over this, and brothers, I will close. Why the Council of 40? They speak, it'd be one voice. All of the ulama and the intellectuals that are there in the north will now have a voice. As the Council of 40 goes down south to Abuja, they will speak with one tongue. This will be respect, they'll garner more respect from even non-Muslims in the south, because they see the north as very chaotic. They see scholar talking over here. They see a scholar talking over here. They see them doing this, and they see them doing that. Here, they'll be corralled in, and everybody will be on cue and on message. Everybody that's there with the council to your left are all intellectuals in their own right. All have expertise about some element of Islam, or about the cosmos, or whatever, or both. And they come with one voice. They'll nominate one Amin, who is the leader, and he talks to the parliament down south and so forth and so on. You notice the traditional clothing. The real scholars today, okay, if he's in the tradition, he will wear the clothes that are traditional in his region. He will not be wearing the European clothing. Because to me, when I see a scholar, intellectual of Islam looking like a European or an American, I question myself. I look at him and say, well, whoa, brother, what example are you setting? See, so here, our brothers, we don't have that problem. Our brothers are tradition and traditional agbada with the turban or with the other kufi. Those are our traditions and so forth and so on. They're not dressed in a suit because they know that's mainly outside the sunnah. Why? Because when they get ready to go pray, when you have regular clothes on, there's issues there about that, which I can't get. I covered it a long time ago. But here it's modesty and so forth and so on. And in the style that we wear our ima and so forth and so on, as you see here. And so this is a beautiful system, brothers and sisters. And I'm hoping that I can get our brothers to start to look at it. I hope the Sultan of Sokoto gets to look at this proposal and then and see what he says about this, because I think he can be the lightning rod that can start this ball rolling, because we need to do something because it's getting out of hand there. It's getting out. They just killed a army commander here a day ago. Some gunman came and killed him. All this type of craziness and madness has to stop, and we have to get a system. I see also reports they just trained. They're going to be sending thousands. They said 28,000 new troops up to the north. That's not going to cut it. Because let me show you this map one more time, brother, sister, because I want to show you the insanity, what's going on with the government, because they're going by what the colonial system has taught them. As you see Nigeria here, as you get to the north, you see Kano. So I say, for instance, here to your left, here in the center, Kano. When the Muharaba strikes in this region, they go north. This is going to be away from the military. So even if you got 28,000 troops, these Muharaba understand the military system. Why? Many of the military are corrupted, and they'll give intelligence reports to these Muharaba for a price. They'll pay them a salary for them to get information about military movement and what they're doing and their strengths. So they're already on them. So they do what they have to do, and they move further north, out of the reach of the military. This is why the military system doesn't work. The patrol system we have here does work. When a group of Muharaba, 40 or 50 of them, just hit somebody in Kano, they killed an important dignitary, killed his wife and children, killed some policemen on the way, robbed a whole bunch of people, stole their wealth, stole some cattle, which they may sell or also eat. They'll take it up north and butcher and then have meat from that, dry meat, because, the Fulani cattle, big cattle, and so forth. But you understand now what I'm talking about, the problem of the military. These guys know their habits. They'll hit Kano, and then they go north, out of the reach of the military. This is why that proposal that's come from Abuja is not going to work. Now you understand why. So brothers and sisters, I'm hoping that you stay with this series. I'm going to be covering more aspects of the Council of 40 and also this patrol and maybe some more metaphysics. If you guys like this, if you drop me a note, if there's something that you need to understand, please drop me a note and leave a comment. I know this is very technical, especially about the metaphysics. If you want to understand more of this, I can talk to you more if somebody wants to understand the metaphysics, because it may be new to those persons not understanding about the Sahara and the metaphysics in it, because this is related. there's a lot of things that there's a correlation between the Sahara and the cosmos, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, it is. Because when you begin to understand the earthly pulse and the rotations and so forth, the vibrations of the Sahara, you'll understand many of the aspects of the cosmos. Very, very interesting analogy between the two of the cosmos, the heavens, and then in the Sahara. Very, very interesting. So with that said, brothers and sisters, till the next time, keep following my series, brothers and sisters. Keep on following my series for this education from your elder. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.